Hey guys, Dr. Alex here, and today I've got something a bit different for you guys, something I've never done before. I'm doing a product review. So I'm going to do a product review of the Chyrobolt, and I believe it's the Chyrobolt 2. So it is a percussion handheld wireless gun, if you will. And I'm going to do this review, and I'm going to talk about its use in a chiropractic office or a manual therapy office. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about my use of it at home for recovery. So a couple things to say, I think, beforehand. Number one, I'm not getting paid to do this. These guys, they reach out to me out of the blue. It's one of the first times the company's done that to me, and it was nice to get something for free. And I have really been enjoying it, so obviously that might taint things that I didn't pay for it. I believe this cost $229 or $220 USD, but I'm going to try and give you my open and honest opinion about it. So first of all, I think useful to talk a little bit about what the research says in terms of percussion, these devices for both treatment and for recovery. So in terms of the treatment side, you can think about it in terms of massage therapy, and that if massage therapy works, we can probably associate it with this working. The idea is you're going to have a mechanical stimulus into a tissue, and you're going to get maybe some local changes in the tissue, but most of those changes we know from the research are going to be neurological. So when you feel better, when a muscle is a little bit softer, more relaxed leaving a massage, those changes are going to be more from your nervous system. You might have some changes in the fascia or the way that the muscle lengthens or shortens, but most of that is going to be neurological. So if we assume the massage works, on a therapeutic side, this guy should work. Now, I've used it a couple times in the office, and to be frank, I don't really enjoy using it in the office because I find that for me, the results are not as good as the acupuncture or the neurological acupuncture I do. Needle close to nerve, stimulate with some electricity. This guy is not as good. It takes a little bit longer. I have to be with the patient for a little bit longer, and the amount of time it takes to get the same result is too much. And with the acupuncture, I can do it in 15 or 30 seconds often to get a much better result. That being said, for the patients that don't like acupuncture, or if you're not an acupuncture provider, this could be a really good, useful tool to help your patients if they have a particular muscle issue that is not responding to whatever you are doing otherwise with your manual therapy, and it will probably save your hands. In terms of the battery life, excellent. I haven't charged this thing actually since I got it 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm still at 23% battery life. So in terms of that, it's good. You would probably have to charge it, my guess is once every day or once every other day at the office, but it's definitely going to last throughout the day. Now, what I want to talk a little bit more about is recovery. And that's what I've been using this for a little bit more at home, and that's going to be recovery for athletics or for sport. So I've been going through a really big training block for cycling. I've been doing anywhere from 10 to 14 hours inside, and so 10 to 14 hours inside is the equivalent of doing 12 to 20 hours outside. It was a big training block. Pretty fatiguing, and I was really happy to have this guy nearby. So in terms of recovery, I really enjoy this. I like it much better than foam rolling. I find it much more comfortable to be able to lie on the couch and use it all over the muscles or the tissues that I like or that I want to focus on, and it's good for harnessing or getting into little hard to reach places that's tough with a foam roller or with a lacrosse ball. I haven't used too many of the tools and the heads that come with it. I've mainly been sticking with this guy right here, which is a little bit soft at the tip, which works well for working in and around joints. So overall, it's tough to say whether I would have gone out and spent the $220 or $300 by myself, but getting one for free, I love this thing. Now, in terms of that going out and purchasing and paying the money, that's going to kind of depend on your wants and your needs, and whether you're going to do the foam rolling or do the stretching, or you're going to be more likely to do what's needed for this. Whoa, using this. So in terms of does this work for recovery, most of the research is very equivocal on this. So if you look through some of the research paper and some of the guides from different national governing bodies, when it talks about sports massage particularly, because there's not a lot of work on percussion, so we're going to make a huge assumption that sports massage and this are equivalent. There's not a lot of good evidence, even for sports massage, that it's effective for boosting recovery or for boosting performance. So when you look at studies that talk about subsequent performance after massage, if there are any gains, they're pretty minuscule. When you look at some of the research about force production, about blood flow, about repeatability, if there are any gains, they are very, very marginal, and in a lot of studies there are no gains whatsoever. A lot of the benefits for recovery that are touted for sports massage, which we again are going to assume are the equivalent for this, they like increase blood flow, increase force production, increase lactic acid clearance. Very, very, very highly debatable. What the research does seem to produce a consensus on is that the psychological benefits, how one feels when getting sports massage, they seem to be quite good. People almost uniformly report feeling better when they get a sports massage after an athletic event, and feel better going into the next day or going into the next bout of exercise. And if we know anything about sport and performance, mindset and what you're thinking up here is tremendous, and it is huge. As an example, like in the Tour de France, some guys and gals get religious massage after their events or after their day, and some people absolutely detest it and refuse to go for it. And I think that's probably the psychological benefit or the psychological detriment that shows how important that is. Because I can guarantee you that if there was an objective physiological improvement that didn't matter what one thought about it, everybody would do it. So, in terms of do I think this is worth the bang for your buck, it's debatable. I think if you're a hardcore athlete, if you want to get every possible marginal gain and don't mind spending the money, go for it. Especially if you're not going to do the stretching, not going to do the foam rolling, not going to do any icing. Otherwise, go for it. If you are not looking for those marginal gains, if you're going to do the stretching, if you're going to do the foam rolling, then I don't know if you need to also splurge for one of these guys as well. So I would say now that I'm an owner of one and have used it through an intense training block, if this one were to break, I would probably go ahead and buy another one because I prefer it much more to foam rolling. I'm still pretty diligent about the stretching, but I just really frankly enjoy using it. I like how it feels. I like how my muscles feel the next day. I typically feel much less sore on the bike the day after. Whether that is placebo or not, I don't think it particularly matters, because if you're feeling better in terms of going into your next performance, sometimes that's all that counts. So I would love to hear your guys' opinion on if you've used one of these or not, and I would love to hear of whether you think it helps or not with your performance. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.